Hey there, welcome back to another video. This time around, it is yet another vlog. I have a stack of Blu-rays, including one 4K box set I want to show you. I also have some thoughts on some recent movie trailers that I want to share. A little bit of a mini rant on a particular topic. And a quick little update on upcoming Blu-ray releases from a couple different studios. So let's get started. I'm gonna start with the Blu-rays. I got these from a combination of a Facebook Marketplace deal, my local pawn shop, and Fred Meyer, which is a grocery store here locally. You might know it as Kroger, because Fred Meyer and Kroger are pretty much the same store, and Fred Meyer is owned by Kroger. So, yeah. Now, the ones I'm going to show you right now, all of these are from the Facebook Marketplace deal, and I just want to let you know, um, in case you didn't know this already, that if you are a collector, you're into collecting Blu-rays or movies, check your local Facebook Marketplace, because you can find some really good deals that you will miss out on if you decide not to also check your local Facebook Marketplace. I mean, that's how I got the Sopranos box set, and that is also how I got these. I wound up getting 12 actually it's 15 Blu-rays for 50 bucks, and that in itself is a pretty good deal. But what makes it an even better deal is a handful of the titles that I got in that particular lot of Blu-rays are out of print, and they go for way more than whatever I wound up paying on average for them. So, yeah, if you're a collector and you're looking for good deals, you're looking for out of print titles, and you don't want to pay an arm and a leg, check Facebook Marketplace, as well as Craigslist and eBay and Amazon and whatever sales that are going on in Facebook groups that you're a part of, because when it comes to this kind of hunting for these kind of good deals, you just gotta expand your horizons as much as you possibly can. Make it so your hunting ground is not as narrow. So yeah, I was really surprised that I managed to get just um, these 7 titles for as cheap as I did. It rounded up to like $3.30 per Blu-ray out of the 15 that I got. So, I mean, let's just start off with this. A Scream Factory release of Slither, a collector's edition, with the slip in pristine condition for only $3.30. You really cannot beat that. That's a very hard deal to beat unless you find this at a pawn shop or some other place for like a buck or two. The out of print digibook release of Empire of the Sun, which has a little booklet, and this release is out of print, and it also has an extra DVD of a documentary called Warner at War. So Empire of the Sun digibook, the 2-disc collector's edition of The Mist, which has been out of print for years. This goes for way more than $3 online. The Mist. We have The 13th Floor with Craig Burko. This is another out of print release. This goes for double, if not triple, if not quadruple the price that I paid for it. It's it's not an easy to find release. It's been out of print for quite a long time as well. And then we have a couple Ernest Blu-rays. You have the double feature of Ernest Goes to Camp and Ernest Goes to Jail. And then we have our Ernest Scared Stupid. Both of these are out of print. So that was a really good deal. And this isn't, you can get What We Do in the Shadows on Blu-ray, but not this particular release brand new anymore, because this is the original release through Paramount that has all of the features on it. The release that you're going to get now, unless you buy it used, is going to be the made on demand release that doesn't have any of the features. So yeah, I mean, really good deal on just those. And I still got more. Got Uncle Buck on Blu-ray because I only had it on DVD. We have The Great Outdoors, another one that I only had on DVD for the John Candy collection. We got Fletch to upgrade my DVD. This transfer is not the best. It's an upgrade over the DVD for sure, but this is a classic film and this needs a remaster. This transfer is dated as hell. It really is. Miller's Crossing for the Coen Brothers collection. If you're a fan of this film, pick up this Blu-ray because the transfer on this upconverted to 4K or just regular HD is really good. I don't even think there is even a need for a new release of this film on Blu-ray or 4K because the transfer is that fucking good. I'm not kidding. It is really good. Then we have The Cell on Blu-ray. Doesn't port over any of the features from the DVD, so I would probably recommend keeping the DVD if you're a fan of the film. Dark City, the director's cut, another film that looks really good on Blu-ray. It also includes the theatrical version, so it's not like you're just stuck with the director's cut. It has a ton of features on it. Minority Report. Now, Minority Report, here's the funny thing about Minority Report. I popped this in just to see what it looked like, and dear God, the CGI in this has not aged well at all. And neither has the decision to make it all washed out with this white filter. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting watch whenever I get around to watching it because it looks really off. And I think a lot of it was an intentional thing where it looks really off. And the last title that I got from the 15 uh, Blu-rays is The Wailing. Heard some good things about this one, so I decided to pick it up. Speaking of washed out colors, my apologies for anything that's going on here. I got the sun coming through my window right now, so I mean it's nice to have the lighting and everything, but sometimes the sun can be a bitch, and this is one of those instances. And the rest of these I got from the pawn shop. We've got King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, Tron, the original classic. Got The Spy Who Dumped Me. I only paid $2 each for these Blu-rays, so it was a pretty good deal at my local pawn shop. This was actually completely brand new, unopened, Men in Black International. And then we have the Crazies remake, which I've heard some good things about, only had on DVD. And the last Blu-ray is the Kingsman 2 movie 4K collection. I got this at Fred Meyer. It was a good deal. It was only $24.99, and that's for two Kingsman films on Blu-ray on 4K. So yeah, I like the Kingsman movies, so wanted to upgrade my Blu-ray of the first film, and I didn't have the second film on Blu-ray at all, so I wanted to just upgrade that period. So that's it for the Blu-ray portion of this video. Now let's talk about some movie trailers. So there hasn't been a lot new that's come out since the last time I did one of these videos. There's a film called Voyagers, which has been getting a lot of shit from people. Like, they hate the trailer. It has a ton of thumbs down. I thought it looked interesting. I actually liked the editing, and I don't think it looks like it's that preachy of a film. I actually think it looks like it might be an interesting movie. I don't think it's going to be a great film, but I don't think it's going to be a total uh, pile of garbage by any means. So I'll keep my eye out on that one. I'll probably watch it sometime this year. Tom Clancy's Without Remorse with Michael B. Jordan. I will say this about the trailer: the action when it was there was well shot, and for that alone, it might be worth a watch. But Michael B. Jordan, he's starting to really, he's getting a lot of these roles, but I really don't know what it is, but it just seems like he's very limited in his range to me in terms of the kind of character that he can play. And this trailer doesn't really make me feel any different. And also, it just seems like a very generic story. Been there, done that. Some special forces guy. His family gets killed, and he goes on a revenge spree. And there's some conspiracy, and there's probably all this other shit. So it's the kind of thing that you've seen done like a ton of times already. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'd rather watch that than Thunder Force. That's for fucking sure. Melissa McCarthy, stop making these movies. I mean, I get that you're trying to stay working and you love your husband, but stop doing these films. It does you no favors. Continuing with this tired shtick of I'm fat and oh no, I pulled my vag. You know, it's like, come on, I'm really tired of this shtick. It's not funny anymore. And poor Octavia Spencer is a really talented actress. She's lumped in and has to be a part of this, and just the same kind of tired, predictable, lame ass jokes that you've come to hate when it comes to a Melissa McCarthy movie. It just, and some really bad CGI as well. Like, why? Like, why? We don't need Thunder Force or Thunder Thighs. We don't need that. I don't. And it has nothing to do with the fact that they're big women. It's poor writing. It's not funny. It's a comedy that isn't funny. So yeah, that's the last trailer that I can think of that I saw. Oh, actually, I might mention the Mauritanian. I think that's how you say it. With Jodie Foster, which is about a true story about a guy who was held captive by the U.S. government because they suspected him to be the ringleader of the group of terrorists that attacked the World Trade Center, um, the Twin Towers, and apparently it was a miscarriage of justice, and we were overstepping our bounds, and it seems like it would be a rough watch, but it also seems like it would be a compelling and genuinely good movie. Especially when it comes to the performances by Jodie Foster, Benedict Cumberbatch, Shailene Woodley, and the actor who's playing the suspected terrorist. His name is not coming. The actor's name is not coming to my mind. My apologies. I think he's a relatively new actor. That's why. But overall, I'll probably add it to my watch list. I'll check that out sometime along with No Man Land. Uh, Nomad Land. Sorry. Uh, because they look like they'd be good films to watch. Just for the performances of particular cast members. So, and they've gotten a lot of critical buzz already. Both of them have already gotten a lot of praise. Now, there are some Blu-ray titles that I want to talk about in terms of ones that are on their way. But before I do that, I want to expend some energy, really, by doing a little bit of a mini rant on a topic that I've heard about. And that is about this proposed idea that Charlize Theron has for a female lesbian Die Hard reboot. She was interviewed by somebody, I forgot exactly what publication it was, but somebody interviewed her, and she mentioned that she wants to do a Die Hard reboot where she's the lead and she's in a lesbian relationship with this other girl, and they get involved in a Die Hard situation where they are together and they have to fight terrorists and stay one step ahead of the bad guys and save the day in a skyscraper. And I like Charlize Theron as an actress. So when I heard this initially, I was like, oh, maybe she's just thinking like, oh, I'd like to do a Die Hard take on something like this. I'd like to do a film that isn't necessarily a part of the Die Hard franchise, but has similar ideas. And I would have been all for that. But no, she actually clarified later that she was actually talking about doing a Die Hard reboot. And to me personally, I'm not a fan of this idea. I'm not really that upset and mad at Charlize. Honestly, I think the reason why she thought of it being a part of the franchise is because that's how Hollywood is thinking nowadays, sadly. A lot of really stubborn thinking about, instead of doing something that is a spin on a particular idea or concept, they are all for just doing the same thing or shoehorning that particular take into a already established franchise. And so I'm not that upset at Charlize herself. Also, it's not like it's confirmed that it's actually going to happen. A lot of it's just brainstorming on her part. So I'm not going to get too worked up at her over that. But I do find the idea to be incredibly daft and something that I don't feel would work, and definitely not something that the Die Hard franchise needs. The Die Hard franchise at this point, it should be dead. After A Good Day to Die Hard, it should be dead and buried, but that's not the case here. Because we're gonna get a prequel slash sequel that's been in development for years, but it's gonna happen. Bruce Willis is a part of it, and I don't want it. I don't want Die Hard Year One. I don't want anything to do with that. I don't even want to see any more Die Hard films. And I really like most of the Die Hard movies. I love the first four films, but I don't want to see any more. I don't want to see any more sequels, reboots, or new installments in franchises, period. I mean, I recently saw a sequel, Coming to America, and my initial thought on it was that it was okay, but then the more I think about it, the more it's forgettable, the more it really didn't need to be made, and the more it kind of pisses me off. So I don't really feel that we need any more of these sequels to these well-known classic films, especially ones that have already had a ton of sequels. Make your own fucking franchises, like John Wick, or maybe this new film, Nobody. Maybe that'll create a new franchise. I'm just sick and tired of these lazy sequels and reboots and retreads. Um, and a Die Hard reboot with Charlize Theron, where she's in a lesbian relationship. It just seems like it's it's an agenda driven project first too, which also really frustrates the hell out of me. I'm so tired of those kind of projects too, because they don't really do the the particular demographic that they're trying to appeal to and trying to showcase as important. They don't do them any real favors, because they don't write these characters as strong characters first and then add in different layers, like they're a lesbian, they're trans, they are a different race. They do all this shit first. And as a result, you have weak characters and weak films that don't have any impact or real resonance. So, how are you really going to make a difference when you make such a half-assed attempt to try to be daring and then fall flat on your face as a result, and ultimately make a movie despite the fact that it's got a lot of things that can get you woke points and get you pats on the back for being progressive? At the end of the day, it's nowhere near as strong, nowhere near as memorable or enjoyable as the other films in the franchise, and it just becomes forgotten about within a span of maybe uh, a couple years. So it's one of those things that's like, why? If you're going to do this kind of concept, then write a strong female character first, and then add in some lesbian characterization and that kind of particular approach. You don't need to just do, oh, well, they're gonna be a lesbian. All right, okay. Is she gonna be a strong character? Is she gonna have a personality? Is she gonna be likable? Are we gonna make her strong in a way that doesn't prop her up above every other guy in the film? Because for some reason, a lot of these movies tend to fall into that category. Oh, we gotta prop the female character who's strong and independent above every other man in the film, because we don't know how to write strong female characters properly who can stand on their own and don't need an extra pedestal to stand on. But yeah, I just think it's a bad idea. Charlize, if you want to do this, do it as its own film. Hell, get a hold of Roger Corman and ask him if you can remake Hard to Die. That was a female Die Hard type of film, and you could probably make it into a particular plot line that has two lesbians in a skyrise and a skyscraper fighting terrorists. Sure, go right ahead. Why does it have to be Die Hard? That's my thing. Why does it have to be Die Hard? It doesn't have to be Die Hard. So just do your own thing or remake Hard to Die. And if you are wanting to do the lesbian thing, then hire a good writer and make sure the writer fleshes these characters out and makes them feel like more than just excuses to be as progressive as humanly possible, uh, in ways that aren't even really necessarily realistic. I mean, you see so many of these films where you have lines of dialogue that are so unnatural, talking about how sexist certain things are, or how the this or that is offensive, and it's like, can you just like handle these themes and cover these kind of themes and the subtext in a natural way instead of just shoving it down people's throats? You know, there's a way to have that kind of message without doing that. But it seems like a lot of writers nowadays have forgotten how to do that. But anyway, yeah, I'm kind of losing, not necessarily losing the plot, but I'm going off the rails here, and uh, I don't have much else to say about the Die Hard reboot idea, except I think it's a dumb idea because it's agenda first and it's plot and characterization second, and that's always a bad idea, whether it's a part of the Die Hard franchise or not. Um, but yeah, Now we get to the portion of the vlog where I want to talk about some upcoming Blu-ray releases. Last Action Hero, the Arnold Schwarzenegger cult classic, that is getting a 4K release from Sony. That's going to be coming out in the near future. It's actually going to be coming out in May on the 18th. Um, there is also going to be a 4K release of Animal House that is also going to be coming out on the same date. The Sting, the classic 70s film, that will be getting a release. MVD Rewind, they are doing Drive with Mark Dacascos. That's going to be coming out, I think, fairly soon. And they are also going to be releasing the Go-Go Boys, the other Canon Films documentary that I don't think has ever gotten a U.S. release. So I'm very curious to see that because uh, Electric Boogaloo was a massive disappointment, and I thought was honestly a pretty bad documentary on Canon Films because most of it was just Canon blasting and people who were involved with Canon, who worked with Canon, talking about how much the film sucked and how much Canon sucks, and it just got really tiresome and old. It didn't really come from a place of compassion or love for the Canon films, so it didn't really feel like a love letter at all, despite how it was advertised as such. So I'm curious to see Go-Go Boys and to see if it's closer to an actual love letter to Canon films. Super 8's going to be getting a 4K release as well, if you're a fan of that one. The 2014 Godzilla, that's getting a 4K release, and apparently the remaster is closer to what it looked like in the theater because for some reason on the Blu-ray release and on DVD, it's darker than it even was theatrically. So you can't, so it's a really poor, muddy transfer that you can't really see anything with. So they are going to be correcting that with the 4K release. Kino Lorber is also going to be doing a upcoming release of Man on the Moon, the Jim Carrey film, which was a biopic of Andy Kaufman. I wonder if that release is going to include the documentary that was on Netflix, because that would be really awesome if it included that documentary, and the Man on the Moon documentary that showcased how Jim Carrey took his method acting way too far on the set of that film. Probably won't though because of rights, but it would be nice. Quick Change, an underrated Bill Murray comedy, which I have on DVD, and I will be talking about sometime in the near future. That is going to be getting a Blu-ray release with a new transfer from Warner Archive. So if you're a fan of that film, that is going to be getting a 2021 release. And I am really looking forward to picking that up later this year. If you're a fan of James Caan, MGM, and Scorpion Releasing, they are doing collaboration and they're releasing new Blu-rays of The Killer Elite and Rollerball. So if you were not region free and you don't have the Arrow video release of Rollerball, you can get a region A release from Scorpion Releasing. And Kino Lorber just dropped a huge list of upcoming releases. Most of these I'm not really that big on. I've never really seen. But one in particular that I'm looking forward to that I want to mention is The Last of the Dogmen with Tom Berenger. That's a pretty underrated film, and it has not had a Blu-ray until now, because later this year it will be getting a Blu-ray release. which is going to be nice because the DVD has been out of print for years and is expensive. So it's going to be really nice to pick up the Blu-ray and to also see the film in HD. So yeah, those are all the upcoming releases I really wanted to talk about because everything else is titles that I really don't care that much about. I know Vinegar Syndrome made an announcement, but nothing really sparked my interest with Last Gasp or Rush Week or Death Promise. I really could care less. 88 Films is going to be doing a new release of Humanoids of the Deep. It's going to have a 4K remaster. It's going to port over the same features from the out-of-print Scream Factory release. It is region locked though, so if you're not region free, it's probably not going to work for you. 88 Films is also doing a box set of the Urban Legends films. It's going to be coming out in April. I actually think I might get that because I don't have any of them on Blu-ray, and apparently there's some extensive documentaries on this set. So I I I, I think it'll be worth it. I'll probably grab it because it can be limited anyway. A lot of 88 Films' box sets are. So, and I actually don't mind Urban Legends, and I remember not minding the second film. I haven't seen the third one, but I remember not minding the first two for what they were. So, I would like to pick up that box set. But yeah, that's it for my thoughts on some upcoming releases. And speaking of upcoming, here's a heads up on what I have planned coming up next on the channel. So after this vlog, I'm going to be going into the Coming to America films. I watched both of them recently, so I will be uploading reviews of both within the next couple days. Um, I do want to get a review of Quick Change ready for the future, as well as this film, which I saw a few weeks ago and I absolutely loved. I thought this film was fantastic. This is a terrific movie, 1917. So I want to talk about that. Um, I did watch a bunch of rape revenge movies. I saw Miss 45. I saw Promising Young Woman. I saw Revenge. So I want to share my thoughts on those sometime. I got some other titles too that I've seen, like Freaky, which it's a film that I've been looking forward to, and it was a little disappointing at times. It wasn't perfect, but I still enjoyed it. And there will probably be a review of that will be posted uh, within the next couple weeks or so, as well as the film Run, which I also did enjoy. But after Coming to America, I got another mini rant on Mighty Ducks Game Changers that I want to upload, and then I will probably get into some requests. I'm going to be tackling the Revenge of the Nerds films, The Breakfast Club, St. Elmo's Fire, and then a couple more anime. And then after that, I have a bunch of other stuff that I will probably have recorded by then, and I'll probably be uploading those reviews. But after all of those, after I get caught up with my playlist, I will watch and do a inevitable rant on August Underground Mordum. Yeah, that's gonna be a really fun watch for sure. But anyway, that's what I have planned on the docket for the channel. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. See ya.